Let's get this show on the road. We'll let everybody else try again. Now, if you, most of you probably saw the first challenge. If you didn't, we talked about mold remediation. Most important thing is to find out where the water's coming from that's making the mold. And sometimes to do that, we got to dig a hole in the house. And so what we wanted to dig a hole in the house was to deconstruct instead of demolish. Deconstruct enough to get down to where the problem is, see the problem, fix the rot, strengthen the structure, and that's what we're doing now, is still strengthening the structure before we put it all together. But one detail is once the rot was mostly cut out, taken away, the little bit that's left, we poisoned it, even if it's just with end-cut treatment that we use for pressure-treated wood. That's so that the old rot doesn't have a chance to head start on the new wood. And so if we get rid of the water source and kill the existing fungus, we're back to ground zero. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about a house that's totally condemned. I'm talking about little repairs that we can keep it from being totally condemned. So what we did is we cut that out, we put some spray on it, we sistered it to make it stronger, but now we have a problem, and this is the next challenge, is that if you look at the back of your set, you'll see there's a little lip of plywood here that is there because when we cut with a saw, no matter whether we cut with a jigsaw or a circular saw, you can't cut right next to the wall, and we don't really want to either. So we cut out a little bit away from the wall, and that leaves the lip. And when we put the new board on, it'll also be here with no support. So yes, we've added the sister in there to do that, but now we need to add in some blocking. And if we look at the slideshow here, if we can bring the slideshow up, there's two pieces of blocking that we need to sneak under there to give us blocking like that. And that will give us support all the way around the board we're going to put in. And then once that board's in, now why are we not working here again? Are we on? Well, oh, there it goes. Okay. Then we're going to put the board back down and go from there. So that's our first task. And if I can get Kevin, you want to jump up? You've got tools set out on your workbench, and not a lot of tools for this time around. There's a bag of screws. Don't drop it on the floor. You need the screws. You've got one large clamp. These extension clamps, if you've never used them before, the quick action clamp, the clamping action is here with this screw. The adjustment action is this tab here. So if I squeeze the tab, I can move that up and down. I can actually move it up without squeezing it, but I can move it down by squeezing it. And so this gets a quick adjustment, and then we tighten it with this. What we need this for is that we're going to bring up this joist. You got the right one there? The very first thing you're going to do is just try to fit the joist in. Kevin's got that one in. Let it drop. And this one's going to be tighter. Go ahead, Kevin, and see. It will go in. I checked it, but you got to see. Now, see, it's kind of snug. If you need a little tap with a hammer, you can play with a hammer. You can get that in. Okay? Now, what we want to accomplish with this is to get it. I'm going to actually mark this one so you can see. Open it up. And I'm going to take a guess at where the middle of that board is with the line, and I'm going to move so the camera can see. And now I got a line. That tells me I want half the board under the wall and half the board ready to receive the new piece that's going to go on here. Okay, so that's how you position it. It's not measured, no tape measures. It's done by eye, but you get about halfway there. And if you're not sure, it's a good idea to just take your pencil. You all got pencils. Make a mark like I just did in the middle, and that way when the mark is hidden, how bad is it hidden? Do I leave it like that or do I pull it back? Okay, now we need to lock it in place. What we can use is simple, that rather than fighting with, there's the camera. Okay, I have to keep looking where the camera is. Rather than fighting with the big parts, I'm going to just slide this down and catch that, and I'm going to clamp it down to the wood that's here. Like that. So you just get it a little snug, tighten it up. You see it bending? I don't know if you can see it. His hand is like pulling out. I need to move my clamp in a little further. And that stops that. Okay, is that going to hold? Okay. Now what we want to do is to actually, in your screw box, you've got big screws and little screws. There's two of them here. The black one that's short, that's a flooring screw, and the long one that we're going to be doing toe nailing with in a minute. So we just take this, and I'm going to just grab my block with a screw close to the edge. He's worried about I'm not quite on the edge. Now, that cinches it up. I'll put another one in over here. You'll do it to two of them. We're just going to do it to one of them. Now, I want to show you something with the, you want to grab my scrap plywood just off, no, the scrap, no, the scrap, the little scrap that's on the floor there. Now, if we can bring it, you got the camera right up there. If I want to screw into this, and I'm on the halfway, what you've got to realize, if I can pull this back, and you can see that go well with the camera. So it's just on the edge like that. If I screw straight down, I might get enough meat that it works, but I might get too close to the edge and it just goes by. It doesn't do anything, or it splits the wood. So what you want to do, we want to go basically straight in, but not quite. We want a little bit of an angle, about like that. Not much, but it's pointing into the middle of the board, so that when I go in, even if I'm on the edge here, it goes into meat further down. That's a big difference than that. But if you go too far, the head ends up sticking out because it's not flat to the surface. So it's a balance between those things. So pretty much straight, a little bit cheated toward the center. Okay? So you put two screws in like that. You do the same thing here. And then let's put our board in. We have boards that are pre-cut for you. They're supposed to fit. We tried to fit them last night. Clean out the I see a piece there. Where's the chisel? We need a chisel. Where did my chisel go? You want to pass me a chisel? On the floor. Somebody stole all the chisels? Thank you. Oh, reason I'm doing this little extra is that if I don't clean out the scrap, when I put the board down, it's going to be proud. And what does that do? The vinyl won't be flat. And so everything telescopes. So there's a little tab. You got to get rid of it. It's worth that little stopping to do that and to clean this out. Because otherwise, if the board is risen up because of garbage or splinters, when the tile or the vinyl comes in, it'll take that shape. And then you got a bump in your vinyl. It's a tiny detail, but is it a pain to fix when you're at the vinyl stage and you got to unscrew the whole floor to get that little piece of splinter? Okay? So let's see if this works, Kevin. What do we got? This one here. And I've got them marked. There's a number on the top and a number there. The reason all that is that last night I drew the line where we were going to cut, and then we measured this in consequence. What you may be doing in real life is after you've opened the hole, then you measure to cut this piece of wood so that it's going to fit in nicely. Now, it's made loose, and we want it loose, but you want to, see it's tight on one side and really loose on the other, so we want to move that over to take an average, so it's about the same all the way around. If it's too big, the vinyl will follow the crack when you come down. Now, I'm missing a blocking here, but we're going to cheat that for time. Now we need some flooring screws, and for the purpose of this, just to save time, because we're in a contest here. Yesterday we did this with the students, and everything took a long time. So you've got 20 minutes to do the whole thing. And when you do it, I don't want you to rush. I don't want you to rush in renovation. You want to get not a fast job, but a good job. So If you don't get all finished, you don't get all finished. But now, we got to do a little lesson again back on this. And if you throw me a glove, left hand, please. Can't figure out the left from the right. Okay. Why am I putting on a glove? Believe it or not, this is the most easy, not necessarily the most dangerous accident on a site, but the easiest to do. Our pro here did this on Monday. He punched his finger. Because what happens is you go in, you start to do a screw, and it jumps off, and it smashes your finger into the wood. Okay? So the secret on doing that is you never hold the screw on the bottom, because holding it on the bottom, any jump off squeezes your finger between the floor, the object, the wall, the floor, and your driver. You always hold the screw on the top. And what difference does that make? Well, it's a pain because it's harder to get in the right place. But by being on the top, if it slips, there's room for your hand to slip off. You're not stuck in there. So it makes all the difference in the world. So what we do anytime we're driving a screw, let's just drive one here. Anytime we're driving a screw, we high up on it, and we go until we feel it's bitten. I never go from loose to all the way in, because it works most of the time. It's the other times that it hits your finger. Okay, so you get it set, and then you're going to screw it down. Now I'm jumping ahead, I realize. So then you can drive it in. So, and when you drive it in, if you're having any trouble, the weight goes here and you push down. But we're going to back up now, because that's going to be almost finished like that. Well, while I'm here, I'll show you the next step, and I'm going to back up to what I forgot on the bottom. This is the piece we cut out, the demolition, the rotten board. I don't care how rotten it is. If it's not totally destroyed, it has a wonderful use, because this board knows where the hole's supposed to be. And instead of trying to measure for the plumbing and get your tape, I hate tape measures. Yeah, because they're both metric and imperial these days, and you never figure out what you're measuring, and then you get the number wrong, and that's room for error. So you put it back in on top of the piece that's ready, and I don't care what you've done, you've got a perfect mark for the plumbing hole. Okay? That will save you all kinds of problems just coming in like that. Now, Kevin, get some spatulas. We got to pull this out because I didn't do the toe nailing of the piece. Oh, I'll get it on this side. We usually use two spatulas, two at a time, because one gets it up part way and the other allows you to lift it up the rest of the way. You can get rid of that. It's gone. Take it away. We'll screw it back down later. Now, in the screw bag, you got some longer screws. And we've got this board in the bottom. We're gonna screw a couple of those in later. Where's my camera? Over there. So this thing is setting up like there, the blocking in the back. And what we want to do is put a screw in that comes in and screws it to the joist that's here. So the screw is on a really steep angle like that. And if you try to just take a screw and put it on an angle like that, it doesn't work. It'll never start where you think, and if it starts at all, there, you see now it finally bit at the end. It doesn't work. You figure out where I need to go to get that angle. So I want to start up here in a little bit of meat, so we'll put it about like that. And I'll go square. I'll go square just enough that it bites. And then even if it's biting too much, I'll back it out just half a turn. I want it, you see I can wobble that, but it's stuck in a hole. That allows me to come down here. I don't like the angle yet, but I'm going to just turn it a tiny bit. It sticks better. Now you see how low a slope I have, but it's not sliding. And as I come across, one, I've got my fingers out of the way because it's going to jump out. I guarantee you this one will jump out. Doesn't matter how much experience you got. So your fingers are not in the line of that jumping tool. And hopefully, I am having to hold on to it, but you would be pushing back here. But now you can see how that comes through. Okay? So I come right out of the middle of the board here. We're very steep here, and that's going to lock it into place like that as you're coming across. So that's what we have to do down under here. So if you get your partner to hang on to the bottom of the board on that side, I'm going to come in on this side, and I'm going to punch straight in. And I went too far, so I'm going to back it out just a little bit. And understand the trigger finger is doing nothing but pulling the trigger. The whole thing is I want to line it up in an angle. I've got my hand up on the bit, but not down below. I'm going to barely turn this. Got to push it so it goes forward. Barely turn this to get it started. When I feel like it's bite, okay, I got a good bite there, I get my hand out of there. I'm going to come up here with the hand here. All the weight is over here. And now you want to trigger. See, it jumps. It'll almost always jump. If I do it smaller, it bites. Now, if my hand was in there, I'd be in trouble already. That's locked down and solid, so you can put in 2 screws. Ideally 4 screws, but we don't have time. That's called toe nailing, even though we're doing it with screws. But the whole trick is, how do you get that low angle? You go in square, bend it over, drive it in. Little tiny shots, they sound diddly, sounds like you don't know what you're doing. What really the guys realized in the last session is that when you have any imperfection in your lineup, which is often, the bit jumps out slowly until it jumps, and then that uses the head. When I trigger on little shots and push at the same time, every time I stop, it goes back down to the bottom. That's what you're doing. The triggering is resetting the drill bit. So it resets it, and I get a fresh start, and a fresh start, and a fresh start, and a fresh start. If you don't, it's working its way out, it's going to jump. Okay? So let's throw the board on the top as if we had done all our sistering here. You will have put in 2 of them, at least 2 toenails on each board, and a minimum. Now, here is interesting because we only did 1 of those blocks. You can see some movement here. This is when I walk on it because it's not supported, and this one won't move at all on that side. So we'll put in about 4 screws. You got a flooring screw there, just 1 or 2. So let's say you tack down your ends, bend over just a little bit. You see again, to get it to the right place, I did it slowly with the trigger. Okay, so it's not a strange stopping that's going on. Now, just before I go, that's a little too wide. We'll move that just a bit. Open this up. Go back towards the center of the board. Do 4 or 6 nails. Technically, it's every 6 inches when you're nailing or screwing, and that's the challenge. Okay, you've got 20 minutes to do that. Don't worry about the time. You're being judged on how well you do each part of it in terms of doing it properly. The blocking is very important. Get that in. The other one, not really quite the challenge. One last thing, if you got time, is you grab your glasses. That's a cue for my assistant here to give me my glasses. You grab your glasses. In the last session, they learned to plunge cut to be able to come in here and cut like this. So they started like this in the air with the blade high, moved like that, came down until they could drop in and made the cut. We got to cut the plumbing hole. So I'm going to go right across the center of the hole. Now I'm doing right, let me turn to the camera here. You see that well? And if you see my line, I'm testing where I am by watching. If I'm out here, that's going to cut the floor outside the circle. I move it, that's going to do it. The toe is tight to the floor. That toe is tight to the floor. Did you get the message? The toe is tight to the floor. We don't float with this. We're not on a pogo stick. And we're going to move forward. We're going to keep our hands away from the blade so everything's up here where we're going whatever's comfortable. And we're bending down and forward. Until it drops in. And once it drops in, we go up towards the circle, but now I'm going to be cutting right through the circle. So I got to back off, turn them off. And every time I back off and turn to the right, it goes a little more to the right. Because what I'm making here is a hole, if I can break it loose. I'm making a wider and wider hole that allows me finally to get my blade in line with the circle. And now I can dance and go right around and drop that out. So that's just a little extra there because you're going to get the rest done so fast. Okay, so just the blocking, screw down from the top. You put the block in, and screw down from the top. You do 2 toenails, same thing over here. Down from the top, 2 toenails. Drop it down, some screws there. Mark out your hole with the template, and then cut in with a jigsaw. Are you ready? And if the hard hats give you a lot of trouble, take them off because we're working so low, they tend to fall forward. Okay, the hard hats are really good on, required on all construction sites where there's overhead work, because even just a screwdriver dropping from high enough can kill you. So you much better have a headache from it bouncing off of the hammer, the helmet as you go. So you ready to do that? Don't get in a rush. Do what you can do, but do it well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The clock goes. You wear glasses, absolutely, when you're working with a jigsaw. When you're working with the small screws as well, screw can jump. Now, if you have trouble fitting your blocking in, you raise your hand and we'll get somebody over to help you. Does it want to fit down? Take your hammer and work on it. Start closer to the edge so you don't have to move it too far. Yeah. Now that doesn't want to quite go, or grab a big hammer. Let me just see. So you got to go in the middle, a little bit left and right, work your way down. The other one might just slip right in. Oh, she's got a good swing. Go for it. Does it fit in all right, guys? Yeah, you're getting there good. Okay. Slide in there. That's good. Once you get your 2 screws on, you're all right. Now, you probably want to push it in a little closer to your center line because you can't bend it this way because the wall's in the way. So you need a little more meat on the inside. Just a little. Yeah, that'll be easier to catch the wood. And then bring this one over just a little. Okay. Anybody gets into a bind or a problem, raise your hand and we'll come. Did it fit in all right? Looking good. Looking good. Okay. Now, one of the reasons this works is that the plywood is locked down by the wall. I got something to work with. The nice thing about those screws is their only purpose is to keep it in position while you're trying to do the toenail. Now give it the drill to the other guy because he's in position to do it. If you got two people around and you're in a bad position, hand the drill over. Okay. Yeah, with the head, pull up with the head. Is it flush yet? Is it, let me just see if we can get that. It's close. I mean, yeah, we can pull it out. Oh, it's back a bit far. Let's see if I can get the ears underneath. At least pull it. Yeah. Why don't you start on the other one? You got a second hammer there. Oh, we're stuck in there, huh? Hold that a minute. See if you can whack that down. Should be able to knock it right down to the floor. And then turn it over and you'll have a good edge. Nobody will ever know. Now, in real life, if you were having too much trouble, you would actually saw the edge just a little bit, make it a little easier. See, that one's slipping in easy. This one's tight. That's the things are not centered. Yeah, just, that's right. Be careful going down. Make sure your bottom comes out. See, because you're slanting into the same problem of going back behind. You see that? Pull the bottom while you pound in. Pull the bottom out and pound so that it comes towards you on the bottom. Yeah, you see how that's straightening up? Almost. Don't go too far. A little trick is to hammer over the joint and then your hammer will stop at the right place. Well, okay. Now you want to gently move it in. Are you under the wood? Yeah, you are. So move it in even. We didn't mark it. Well, that's okay. Keep going a little bit more. That'll work. That should work. You might have to go a tiny bit more. Just because here I can't change the angle of my screw. Drop the bottom in, square that out. Good, good. Did you get the toenail? You got the toenail? Yeah, good. That one's probably too close because there's not a lot of meat. So we don't have much wood here to really hold it. This one's a good distance. It would be there, this or even a little more. Now get the handle up out of your way. Get the handle vertical up out of your way. You've got to learn and remember. Now watch out. Now put a glove on your left hand, because that's where you're going to be in trouble. And remember, it's not the trigger hand that's pushing. So all the weight comes from the other hand. So now you're going to have to tip that up. You got to get into a very awkward position because the battery's in your way. It's either vertical up or back this way, because once you get started, you're going to bend it way over. Just barely touch it. Okay, stop, stop, stop. Back it out even a little bit. Now bend it. Again. Yeah. Now, with your hand there, leave your hand there, but you're not going to push hard. You only want about 4 or 5 threads to bite. Does the angle look good? The angle is what you're looking for. Okay, that's good. Now, 4 or 5 threads, just gently. Okay, now it means you can go to work. Now that hand goes behind. Now you got to roll up because the battery's already hitting you. No, that's very awkward. Find a better position. That's better. Now you see why your hand is not there? If you want to hold the wood over here, or your partner can reach down and hold that wood. That's probably a better switch. Good angle. Now, I would suggest that your backhand's probably not in the best position to push, is it? Yeah. Change hands and you say, I'm not left-handed, but all you're doing is pulling the trigger with the left hand. So the real work is back there. You feel how that feels good? And the triggering helps you get it in? You're too far away. So now go square first. That's a good place. Now bend it over. Is it too tight? You might have to back it out a little bit. Just a shot. Okay, now over more, over more, over more. No, you got to come way over. Come way over. Yeah, you see, now that's hitting the wood. Now get that finger out of there because you're in the wood. Now, stop. I want you to put this hand behind there. Take that hand for the trigger. Doesn't matter. The trigger is not important. That's what's important. And you do little clicks. Do little clicks. Don't try to go all the way. Go more. Sink that in. No, get your hand back in the right place. And little clicks. Yeah. You see how that makes a difference? The little clicks. Oh, you're already all done. Got a big gap there and no gap here. Well, you're ahead of the game, so back it out. Let's open that. Let's even this line out. You got plenty of time. Now you got a spatula behind you that will dig in, flat bladed. No, there's a red one there. Yeah, here you go. So with this, you can get right down in that crack. Too much, too much. You want to share it with the other side. Okay, when it looks like it's kind of all even all around, then you go. Now you want to put some weight on it so his playing with it doesn't change the position. And remember, you got to angle slightly into the center of the board. I think you're doing that. It's looking good. Now, usually we don't go back in the same hole because we move things. And it might be different. And a really good job, if you got extra holes like that, then you come back with a putty knife and you fill them in. You don't have to do it the real true every 6 inches. Yeah, I'll be happy with 4 screws. Excuse me. Hey, we're getting good work on the toenail. That's all cleaned off? You got them? Okay. Drop in your board. Didn't we have a number on that one? Number 3. Okay, you're number 3. Watch out for your fingers. Yeah, there's 2 of those that help you to do that. It's a trim ply if you're looking for a name. Beautiful. Now you want to kind of kick it around to make it even all the way around. Not tight any place, just even all the way around. So whatever slack you have, you share it. Okay, now at least 4 screws and we'll move on. Or six screws. Yeah, those are flooring screws. You'll see the screw is made with no threads up here. What that does is it lets the screw spin in the plywood and it pulls the plywood down. And so it's made specifically for flooring. Oh no, not so much. Give me 4, 5, 6 screws. Yeah, technically it's every 6 inches. Now, okay, now watch your angle because your wood's over there. So you're going to go there, but you're going to go that direction. Yeah, so get your body in the right place so that because you're going off. That's not the right angle because you're going to go out into the emptiness. Okay, you're going to get on this board. Okay, go for it. You could go this way and you catch this board here. Go. Yeah. Just a tiny bit. Okay, and then you got your fingers out. Got to keep going until there's no more head. Okay. Now, when it makes that grinding noise, it's that you're not hard enough into the screw. Now, try one there. I want to see your angle. Tell her the right angle. You're going to guide her. Okay. You know what we're talking about. Now, not too much of an angle because you don't want the head going crazy. That's good. That's good. Give it a start. Nothing serious until after it's in the wood. Okay. That's maximum angle. Okay. Let one of your partners drive some screws. You're pretty far out. I don't think there's any wood there. Okay. Now go move away from the corner. Just right here. Okay. Yep. Well, you don't want to go all the way through. Okay, do a second one, and then she can do 2 down there. You want to find your pencil and be ready to draw with the template? Yes. Yes. Now your angle was rather radical. Is that sticking up? You see that would go right through the vinyl. You need to pull that one right out. Get it in line, just as if you're driving it. Yeah. Now move over just a little bit. And don't get nervous. Whoa. Okay. Whoops. Give me another one over here. You got to practice a little bit. Then he can put one in up there. Not too close to the edge, not too far. Nice, nice. You got one more to put in. You got grab your template. Go ahead and put one right where it says 3. Well, you don't need to do that because you're opened on the other side. So okay, yeah, you're ready to go. I thought you were trying to start a fresh one here. You're just going around. Okay. Then pass it to your partner when it's easier for him to do the angle. We got 1 minute left. Let's see if you can get your jigsaw in there. Grab your jigsaw. You know the plunge cut? Think you can get a plunge cut in there? Take a look at the back of the blade. Get your toe on the wood. Get the toe on the wood. Go down. Get your toe on the wood. All the way down. Way down. Now you're leaning way over, but so you're not really in a good position, are you? Okay. Now I want you to far enough that you can see the blade. Now turn it on. You see where the blade goes? Move forward. Move forward. Down. Don't stop now. You got 1 second. Time's up. Okay. She almost got her circle cut. Almost. So everybody got it done. Okay. The judges are doing their thing. What did we do? We did one thing that is often forgotten, the blocking. The blocking is what holds every edge of the plywood up. But when one edge is floating because it's cut in the open, that's going to be a weak spot that breaks. Okay? So that blocking is important. And the thing you really learned as a lesson is how the heck do you drive a screw almost flat to the surface at an angle? You got to go straight and then over. So many people don't think that, and they skitter all over the place and leave the screw wherever it ends up. But you can say, I want it to start there, bang. My marker's fit, I go over, and I drive. And then the triggering. The triggering, every one of you found the triggering made a difference. Too many guys insist that they're just going to push it all the way through the first time. And what they do is they eat the screw head because the driver is stronger than the screw head. And then it gets round, now you're in trouble. You can't get that out. Well, you got to get out the vice grips and do it a quarter turn at a time. You've done that before. I can see by the way you're talking. They're quick grips. Vice grips is the brand name. Ah, it's like a Frigidaire. Or clamping pliers. Clamping pliers is the official thing, but it was originally vice grips. But you got the tools. Okay, that's the problem. We get used to certain terms as we're going along. Okay, so we learned about getting the structure in. The judges are ready. We're ready, yeah. We have a winner.
So we got the teams right this time. So that is team 1.
Okay.
And they are the first prize.
The team 1 over here is the first prize. Who's team 1? Stand up. Move on over there. Now, all of you who worked on this challenge, you keep the hard hat, keep the gloves, and keep the glasses. Okay? You all get to walk home with that. For you two, I'm just going to make your suitcases heavy to take back home. Come on up here. Oh, yeah. Look at that smile. A little bit of leather. Oh, come back, come back. Let's get a picture for the group.
Congratulations, guys.
There's a cameraman wants to see you.
Well done. Let's take a picture.
You have to share your prize with the judges.
Come on up.
Okay.
Come on up.
The picture.
Oh, the cameraman just tried to get further back. Okay. Did you get it? Got it. Oh, one more. This one's for CBC. Okay. One more. Okay. Congratulations, guys. Good job. And good job to all of you. I saw a lot of learning going on, and you picked it up quick. It seemed like a simple little job, but it's crucial in good work. Now, what time is the after lunch? Robert, what time do we start after lunch? 1:15. 1:15? Okay. 1:15? Okay, 1:15 is the challenge, but all the people in the challenge here at 1:10. Okay? So we're getting all designated. We're saving time this year by getting that all set up before we go. So thank you very much. Have a good lunch. And I'll see you at 1:15.